So that was fun. I'm still getting to know the new settings within YouTube Studio, or at least things that are new to me. And I started my stream. It said it was started, but it wasn't completely started. So I was talking to myself for like the last 15 minutes, and I guess we'll see how that goes from the perspective of content. But anyway, hello, my name is Mama Lynn, and I am here to reintroduce myself to the community. For those of you who may watch this and don't know who I am, I go by a bunch of different names online, including on YouTube. I tend to get into a little bit of trouble, but when it comes to this particular channel, like I said, I am Mama Lynn, and I am here to listen to your problems. Well, actually, it's more like we listen to problems, we talk through them, we have a discussion, and sometimes we talk about different topics that, you know, I like to think I am more comfortable to talk about a number of different things that, you know, maybe we don't always commonly talk about as people, but ultimately they are things that we need to talk about, if only because to suffer in community is easier than to suffer alone, right? So for those of you who may have watched my stream before, you know I've been gone for a little while, and so the purpose of this stream was kind of to reintroduce myself to the people who might be watching, to kind of say, like, this is what we do here and this is what my intention is, but also to explain where I've been. I've had a lot of life changes since the last time I've been on stream, and not all of them were good. Well, a lot of them were kind of trying, a little bit difficult. And as you can see, if you ever happen to like take the time to look at any of the previous streams, you will have noticed that this baby right here, this is Timber. Timber is my ESA. They tell me she's a Bengal, but I don't believe them. She is 14 years old, and she is my grandma cat, and she will not let me be on stream, talk on the phone, or anything like that without making sure her presence is known. So you'll see her quite a bit, unless she decides that she's tired of me and she'll go to sleep. But yeah, so I'm Mama Lynn. I am from the United States. I am older than I look, and I have been through a lot of things in my life, many of which most people will never have to deal with. So I had a decision to make about what I was going to do with those experiences. And I just decided that I wanted to bring some meaning to that. You know, meaning to the suffering, meaning to the scars that I carry for the rest of my life. So I'm here. I'm here if you need a mom. I'm here if you need a friend. I'm here if you need some tough love, for sure. So quick recap of why they call me Mama Lynn. It's a moniker I gained back in college. The jigsaw puzzle is part of the kind of thematic part of that. When I was in college, I would sit in the lobby, had a jigsaw puzzle on a table. I'd blast some kind of indie, alternative, heavy metal, whatever music I was feeling at the time. And literally anybody could come and sit and talk. I would do the puzzle and we would talk. Now, everybody is welcome to touch the puzzle in this scenario, but you know, a lot of times people would just really be there because they needed an ear. And one of the things that I found really helpful about the interaction with the jigsaw puzzle was that it gave us something to look at other than each other. And I find that when you listen to people and you talk about life, when you don't have that like direct stare, it ends up making it easier for people to be revealing and honest and personable in a lot of ways. So that's where I'm at. I am here to kind of bequeath that on to you guys. I spent the better part of the last 10 years doing anonymous peer counseling through a website called 7 Cups of Tea, right? Right. Yeah. So I have a pretty good chunk of practice, and I also have a couple of degrees in my pocket. So I have a background in abnormal psychology and human sexuality, but I also have a full-fledged literature degree in ethnic, cultural, and gender-specific literature. So yeah, I guess I just got kind of really into the idea of celebrating and studying and understanding the nature of people, and apparently it has clicked really well for me. So anymore, that's what I do. My whole life is about people. It's about understanding people and what they need and what they want. And sometimes they don't know until we start talking. So anyway, that's my little intro. You can feel free to try and guess how old I am. I don't think I've ever said so on stream, but I guess that's a little hunt that you could try, but I don't recommend going through the old streams because like we're talking 5 hours of me sitting here mumbling to myself sometimes. So that's how it is. A lot of times when it comes to like Mama Lynn stream time, what you're going to find is me doing random things, watching random videos, or working on the jigsaw puzzle while I wait for people who need to come sit down at the table. So at any given time, if you see me live, consider it an invitation to come and talk. Consider it, an open window of opportunity for you to get some advice on your life. Or a problem that's been on your mind or anything like that, and we'll talk it out. If you feel like you would rather not say those kinds of things or ask your question in a public setting, I understand. So if we're in live and you've got something that you want to bring up, that's what the email is for. So if you're in that position and you've got a question, you don't want your screen name attached to it, you don't have to create a new account. Just go down to the description. There is an email inbox. It is mamalyntq@gmail.com. If you email that, I am the only person who will see it. And if you tell me in your email, I don't want you to read this out loud, I don't want you to say my name, we're good. We can do this offline. We do not have to do it during the live. At least for now, I can handle if you want to come into the Discord and have a private conversation with me. I can handle it if you want to email me and ask me a question. So rather than sit there and let it just fester in there, ask it. I have an encyclopedia brain. I might just know where to point you to, and I'll be happy to do so. I've been known to do things so far as to, like, if you were telling me that you have such bad anxiety that you cannot even make the call to make an appointment to see a therapist, I've been known to offer to make that phone call for people. And it's funny because I have, like, in general, in my daily life, I have very, very bad anxiety, which is the reason why Miss Tamber is here. So, I guess my point in saying that is, like, part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I kind of get it. I kind of get the need for like personal advocacy or somebody who's going to have your back. So, and I also know very much so what it's like to feel like you don't have anybody at your back. So, anyway. Oh, we're making biscuits? We're making biscuits? I guess so. So anyway, I definitely wanted to spend some time today to, you know, kind of go through like where I've been. And I know I wasn't like, you know, a really heavy streamer. I didn't have, I think the biggest stream I ever had was like 10 people watching me at some time. And I'm okay with that because I'm not sitting here trying to like, you know, put myself up on the chart. I'm trying to be genuine. I'm trying to be something worth interacting with. And so if that means I spend 2 hours talking to the same person, but that person walks away from our interaction, you know, if they walk away from it feeling like that time was worth it, like that's worth it to me. Now, I'm not gonna deny, you know, people the opportunity to talk, and if people wanted more time to have these kinds of sessions, like I'm happy to spend more time every week. It's just kind of gonna go with the flow and see who needs what. But the reason why I haven't been around is because you know, I've been doing this, like I said, with the peer counseling stuff for quite some time. I've been, you know, better part of a decade. But one of the rules that we have on the website that I do that through is if you're going through some personal shit, you don't do peer counseling when you're going through personal shit. And that's about like making sure that you don't bring your static into the conversation that's supposed to be about somebody else's, right? So that's basically why I was gone. I had a lot of life changes happen. I had a lot of things that I had to take care of, a lot of new developments that I had to kind of wrap my head around for a little bit before I could be adequately working on somebody else's stuff. That's not to say I haven't been doing the peer counseling offline. I have, or I guess it's not really offline, but like off stream, I have. But what I found was, well, what do I say? Cut, you know, I mean, like, let's just be real. Let's tell a story or whatever, right? Because at least now I'm good with it. But, okay, so the last time I was like kind of regularly streaming was right before the pandemic started. And obviously that's a very hard time for everybody. And I was kind of, well, I mean, it was before everything was really hard for everybody. And, no, wait, oh my gosh, the pandemic has been so long that I got my time mixed up. I started live streaming at the end of 2020. So definitely in the middle of pandemic, because I was like, no, this doesn't seem right. It was a pandemic thing. Mostly because, you know, at the time, my then partner and I were kind of, well, I was kind of adhering a lot to the whole hardcore lockdown, wanting to be safe from being really sick and stuff. And I just realized that there were a lot of people who probably were feeling a lot more lonely than they were used to. So why not give them a place to kind of hang out or whatever? And so we started, and it was good, and I was pretty happy with that. So so I thought, great, we'll just keep going. We'll keep doing this. And So I was showing up a couple of times a week, and you know, sometimes I'd be here for an hour, sometimes I'd be here for the whole night, and either way it was really cool for me and I really enjoyed it. And you know, sometimes we were, you know, I held holiday streams and stuff, you know, and then we went and transitioned into 2021, and I think the last stream I really had was for New Year's. And so I kind of took a little hiatus because I was in the middle of like a job transition. Like I'd lost my job at the end of 2020, and I was anticipating a job transition in February of 2021. So I wanted to focus on that. And so I did. Well, during the time that I was dealing with that transition, it came to light like, I think it was like a week after Valentine's Day in 2021 that my partner of 5 years let me know that he was desperately unhappy with what was going on in his life, and he wanted to go. And I gotta say, like, this was the person that, from my perspective, like, I thought I was gonna spend the rest of my life with this person. So when I say that, you know, devastation occurred, like, we are talking like devastation. I went through the whole gambit of emotions. I felt like the hugest idiot that you could ever feel like, and I don't know, I had like that moment of like remembering all of these decisions that I had made, not that he had asked me to make, but that I had made, thinking that we were going to endure on, right? And they were all part of like this supporting of this partnership that I thought I had, that I was learning about the fact that I was the only person who was choosing for that. So so that was really hard to learn. You know, it was really hard to learn right after transitioning into a new job. I mean, we're talking, I start the new job, you know, the beginning of February, and a couple of weeks later, I'm doing this. You know, I'm going through this split, and I'm having to go, you know, sit in a virtual training class that's being recorded and try not to cry, you know, and just, it was awful. You know, and at the same time, I'm dealing with like medical issues and stuff. And so I was like, I definitely cannot provide any kind of Mama Lynn vibe for this. Definitely not. So I took a break. I took an extended break. I announced it on Facebook that I wasn't coming back for a little while. I really tried to focus in on myself a little bit and get my head straight. And if you are a follower of this channel, there are a couple of you. You may have seen that I did try to do a live stream, I don't know, like May. And I thought I was ready. I got on live stream and I had one person watching. And that person decided to talk about my feet. And boy, was that like the worst time, the worst thing to like do. You know, I mean, I chewed him out on stream. You know, I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? You know, like, so it was really bummy, but you know, my kind of bursting back into tears or whatever when, you know, I'm trying to explain where I went while this guy is talking about my feet, and that's the only kind of, you know, the only kind of exchange I was able to have at the time. Like, it just hit me so hard. And so I was like, I can't do this. So then, you know, I'm working on myself, I'm working on my settlement, and the computer I was using at the time was my ex's, and then he wanted it back. So then I had to figure out, I had to get my own computer and I had to get my own equipment, and I managed to do that, and now I'm here. So anyway, maybe it's not that much of a deal, you know. I mean, during that same time, you know, I ended up having a couple of really annoying and aggressive and, you know, kind of permanent medical things come up and stuff, and it was just like, I gotta get myself a lot more straight than I am now, you know, in the metaphorical sense, before I try to help people, especially when there's a camera on me, and it could go down in the history books as, you know, something that people could watch at some point. And so, yeah. So that's why I was gone. I imagine at some point, the number of times I'm going to explain who I am, why I'm here, why I was gone, and what we do here. It's going to be a lot. And I'm going to eventually have some kind of montage that I put together. It's like a collage or whatever, of all the times that I, you know, ramble about myself in the empty void space. But for now, I think that's enough. Let's see here. We're gonna see what's going on. So what I was saying in my first attempt on this video, you know, or this stream or whatever, one of the things that I've gotten into in the last year or so is I just like posted in this like mutual server thing that I've got going, and it literally like it literally boxed me out like immediately after I posted it. Oh, it's so funny to me though. I'll admit I haven't spent like any time really learning about all the different integrations and things that you can do. There's a lot of changes that have happened since the last time I was on stream. I definitely sound like a boomer or whatever. I get that. But you know, even when I was trying to load up or whatever, I was late, and then I started a stream, or I thought I started a stream, and then it wasn't doing anything, and it was like, what? So I thought, okay, well, maybe OBS isn't doing what I thought it was supposed to do, so then I stopped it, but then it stopped the whole stream, and so it's like, oh, crap, well, was it recording or not? I gotta figure that out later. You know, and at the same time, I was like, I wanted to like have like an hour. I wanted to practice for an hour or so, and then, I mean, like Vosh is streaming now. And I thought, I'll do an hour, probably nobody will show up. I'll get my practice in or whatever. And then I'll go watch Vosh. I don't really trust to like watch him live, but, or at least not yet. But see, like that's the thing with me though. Like this is what I was getting into right before I derailed my own self. While I've been gone, I have gotten really, really into like a lot of the leftist space. And I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm going to spend all this time on the Mama Lynn channel talking about politics, because I don't want to do that. But I do intend to talk politics on my other stream, page, channel, whatever. But I did want to say that, like, just so we're all on the up and clear or whatever, if you are running around in the, leftist spaces, you may have seen me, especially if you're in that Vosh camp or, I mean, I guess like my social queue over is with, I hang out with like TYT and stuff, but ultimately I probably spend more time involved in other spaces other than like the TYT social space, just because like I feel like certain people in the discourse are just a lot closer to where my personal politics lie. So like anybody, I gravitate towards places that my personal politics do lie. So yeah, I have this tendency though, that is why I'm talking about it, because while I know they have thousands of people who watch their streams and thousands of people who interact with them or comment on their videos, it seems like the comments that I make get a decent amount of people talking or, replying or whatever to them. So I just want to be transparent. I go by the moniker Tesla Coil with a Q for the coil, or Quasita the Q Dragon. So my main commenting, shit posting kind of channel is Quasita the Q Dragon. You get to see timbre videos, right, timbre? Right? Yeah. So you get to see timbre videos on the Quasita channel, but if you also what you get in the Quasita channel is you get essay-long comments from me talking about different specific subject matters that I feel like I can advise on or whatever as a particular resource, or if I have a specific opinion that I want to share. Recently, I've written these little essay comments about things like Jordan Peterson. God, what was the other? It's like we've done Jordan Peterson. I've done a lot of commentary on TOS enforcement, because if you've been hanging out in like the TYT channels and stuff, or if you've seen these comments, you'll know that I, at least for the last year or so, have been working weekends, overnight, doing content enforcement for a specific social media platform that I am not, like, I'm contracted to them, so I'm not able to like publicly proclaim that I work for them. But it is not YouTube, so I'll just say that. But I have been doing like policy enforcement for the last year, and so I've been sharing insight about that particular topic with, with streamers and stuff. But I will say that one of the things that actually got me to come back and try to start going live and start, you know, having these conversations again. And, you know, I do intend to have different types of streams. Is just watching the discourse and being like, they are not talking about this obvious point, right? And I figure like that's probably how some people just like get started, right? Like they have this really vocal compulsion to like put an opinion out, but like the comment section isn't enough, so they feel like I've got to go ahead and figure out a way of putting my stuff out there. So they take their crappy little web camera and they get their annoying little kitty cat that won't stay out of the way. And, you know, like I say, you know, I've been trying to find like a boom mic or whatever, but, you know, I'm looking at a job transition again, so kind of limiting my expenses, but I didn't want to give myself another excuse. So you get the headset mic, but what? I think she might be tired. But yeah, so, you know, I mean, I gotta find a good mic. I gotta find some, you know, I guess probably like a headset. I bought this like schmancy computer. It's got all of these things in it, and I have no idea how to use half of it. So you're at least gonna watch like a learning curve if you watch the stream or the streams or, you know, whatever. I feel like I'm really old. I'm definitely like dealing with, you know, midlife crisis vibes right now. But no, for those of you who do not know me well, that is not the nature of my haircut. My hair has been this way for a couple of years. But, and it's not the first time I've done it either. But, yeah, I don't know. I've just had a really strong compulsion to get involved, share opinions, be something less observational, I guess. Like I didn't want to keep staying on the sidelines and just kind of abiding by what other people's opinions of the world were. I think it's really easy for us to do that sometimes. What did I just do? I think I accidentally flipped I did. Whee! I actually really like this particular jigsaw puzzle program, but it's not interactive like the puzzle program that I usually use for streams. So again, if you've watched any of the previous streams or you've been familiar with me at all, you know that I typically will do jigsaw puzzles on a platform that actually allows you to host a jigsaw puzzle and do puzzling with either strangers or people that you invite to come do them with you. And yeah, so I would really like to get to a point where we're enjoying each other's company enough to be like, okay, here's the link to the jigsaw, and you know, I think you can host like up to 4 people or whatever, and just be like, okay, the first 4 people who show up, there you go. It'll be all for you, and we'll just do this jigsaw puzzle, and we'll have ourselves a chat. But yeah, I mean, I have like this large idea that I want to try and manifest right now, and it's so funny to be like on day 1 of version 2.0 and, you know, have that meandering feeling of like, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what I'm talking about. Trying to reassure myself, like, that's the whole point. that's what this is supposed to be. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be like silent and just doing this puzzle because it's not very exciting. And if somebody pops in for a second to see what's going on and I'm just silent and staring at the screen, you know, what fun is that? So, I guess one step at a time. But yeah, I just hope that eventually we'll end up kind of connecting, and the people who need to find me will find me. We'll be able to have the conversations that they need to have, that the life lessons that I can share from the tough things I've had to learn will get to who they need to get to. And nobody will have to learn something unnecessarily, if that makes sense. In other news, I got a new job. Maybe eventually there will be people who give enough of a shit about me to be excited about it. Other than my real life people, obviously. But yeah, I start a new job in the end of February, but this time, not taking a pause. The last time, I was transitioning to a whole different kind of schedule and a whole different kind of life. And so I'm doing that again, but this one will match more normal people times. So I'll be working actually Monday through Friday kind of thing. So, what the fuck? Did you fall asleep? Freaking cat. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the preview up there. I have this screen right in front of me, so I can look at you. And then I have this screen up here. Oh, look at this chicken meat. Jesus. I have the screen right in front of me, which is my primary screen and the one that plays where I can see the games and stuff. And then I have a large screen, which is a TV, which is where I watch the videos and stuff. And so if you see me looking up like this, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a 32-inch television that's hooked up to my computer. What was I talking about? You fell asleep and fell off the thing, and then I showed him my chicken wings. I guess, since I showed my arm flapping, I'll just give a short iteration of that will probably come up quite a few times in the course of this existing. So I used to be what I call mega fat. I am still a little bit fat. Some people would say I'm super fat still, but what can you do other than keep trying, right? So so used to be mega fat. I was 535 pounds, and at least that's what I was the last time I weighed myself. I might have gotten up higher than that. I literally got to the point where I was bigger around than I am tall. And if you know me at all, that's a big accomplishment. Because I'm 6'1". So my, I'm not proud of it, but I think it's an interesting fact, especially because I'm not that anymore. And I have this interesting kind of factoid about myself where I can be I've literally lost half my person. I used to talk about it I've lost a small family. I've lost an average men, a slightly below average woman, and a toddler. Like, you add them all together, average weight, there you go, because I lost 270 pounds. Now, you can't lose 270 pounds without gaining 300, right? So it's not like I'm asking for, you know, kudos on that, because I feel like it's weird to do that. I feel like it's weird to say I deserve, you know, a pat on the back for this accomplishment when I created the problem. So there's that. But I mean, that's why I have like deflated arms. You know, I have the same kind of thing going on at the legs and pretty much every part of my body. I'm very lucky that it's not really obvious in my face, but it's like, if you could see right here, you'd know. So, but you know, the prices we pay for not loving ourselves when we deserve to be loved, right? Let's see here. I'm what I call my dad's daughter. I sing to myself a lot. So I forgot to correct the link in my event that I sent out and then, you know, nullified by screwing up the stream in the beginning. So, you know, trying to make up for it, but I think I've kind of screwed myself right at this time. Hopefully, like, the heater and stuff isn't too loud. Usually it does pretty good because this microphone is meant for like voice, but you know, as we grow and change and create new things, y'all can give me crap about how I don't know how to do things. I make that noise a lot too. Oh gosh, like all these people who don't know me at all are gonna like be exposed to these idiosyncrasies that or that's not even the right word, but y'all are gonna be like exposed to these parts of like my living alone self that are kind of new. They're new to a lot of people. That was one thing, like maybe that's worth like talking about. Like, what did I learn about the situation when you know, when I ended up kind of being in forced hiatus, right? So so we had like the split happened, and you know, I crumbled to the ground figuratively. But wow, gosh, now I'm blanking, but I will catch up in a second. So yeah, so like I said, I thought, I was kind of bought in hook, line, and sinker with that. So when the rug was pulled out and I was confronted with the fact that my future, like my future plans, had all changed. All the details, all of the things that I thought were going to happen, even like choices that I'd made about what kind of family I was going to have and where I was going to live and what kind of jobs I was taking, just like all of this stuff, just right out. When that kind of stuff happens, I mean, I'm old, so, old relatively speaking for the chronically online, so I assume that the bulk of people who might actually watch this are going to be younger than me, and maybe you haven't had the experience yet of having that rug pulled out from under you, or, if you have had some, had this experience that's similar to it, it may not be exactly on the level of, the entirety of this future that I thought I was going to have has completely dissipated. Now, it wasn't the first time I've had that happen to me, which is one of the parts of it that really sucks, right? Like, I feel like we have this conceptualization as human beings where we think like every person is going to have to experience, we're all going to experience tragedy and pain. Generally speaking, we all find at least one thing to love and one thing that loves us. We usually figure out at least something that we're good at and something that we should never touch again, right? A lot of times these things are really normal things, like you should never cook or you should cook all the time. Or, you have your high school sweetheart, and so that love can exist. Or, unfortunately, there are people who never, they fall in love, but they fall in love when they're 76, and they had been convinced their entire life that they would never find somebody, and then, they're in the nursing home, and they're finding out that, like, legacy can exist. But my point being that, like, as human beings, we all kind of have this like set archetype, and I don't think it's necessarily just because we partake of pop culture and pop culture dictates what we expect. I think that there is some semblance of the snake eating its tail in that respect, but I also think that we built the snake. If we are, I don't believe that God exists, but if we are going to believe in the concept of God, we could see ourselves in that role, and we've created the snake that we now watch eat its own tail. We created the snake that builds the expectations that we live our lives by, and that means we also have dictated where our disappointments are going to come from, where our pain is going to come from, what we consider to be important. And those things evolve over time, and I know there will be people who, it's that whole chicken before the egg or egg before the chicken, and I think that even though that argument I think has been relatively settled because it's clearly the egg, but like we're still trying to find where that the answer key is. We're trying to find the manual. It's just, I don't know. It's really hard to explain sometimes. It's hard to explain like where your thoughts are going in that respect. But anyway, gets pulled out from under you, and you're trying to figure out like, what page do I need to turn to now? Where am I starting? Do I have to start all the way from the beginning? Sometimes it feels like you have to. It's almost like you finished, book 2 of the series of 8, and I almost feel like if my life was a series of 8 books, I read books 1 and 2, I skipped 3, read the last half of 4, and probably skimmed 5. So now I'm in book 6 and I don't know what's going on. I want to keep reading book 6 because I think it's interesting, but I also need to read the other stuff. I need to go back and learn it. I need to figure out, what the fuck? What did I miss? Who died? What lessons? And that's really hard when you're my age and everybody else has kind of read through the books like a normal person. Where, you know, they weren't questioning reality when they were, you know, 10. So, like, they haven't had that long of a time to, like, have it fester and fuel the fire that, you know, generates their anxiety. But then you get people like me, where that was my life, and so I have constant thoughts and analysis and the want to just share. And there's so much that I feel like there's so much that I need to get out. There's so much that I need to say. There's so much that I want to share. There's so much that I want to just be like finding the reassurance that I'm not the only person. And that's also part of why I'm doing this, I guess. Nope. I have like a song in my head that's from like a TikTok, but I don't know the words, and I'm not about to try and sing it. I just know that it's one that a lot of people like thrust to, and it's just dumb. I watch too much YouTube. Oh, I was like totally like going through like where all you might see me, and then I like totally derailed myself because I was talking about TYT, and then I went poof over here. But yeah, I mean, so anyway, if you like watch like any of the, like I've been calling them the branches of the tree that I'm trying to grow here, like you might see me talking about Vosh videos, you might see me going off about some of this really stupid stuff that's been going on in the political discourse. Hopefully you won't witness to me, you know, inspiring like, you know, inspiring the government to come raid my house or anything like that. But there's that. But then, you know, based on the experience of what has happened in the peer counseling arena that I've been dealing with on 7 Cups, as well as what happened in the stream previously, this space is most likely going to talk about family issues, some homework issues, a lot of relationship issues, and funny enough, in that peer counseling space, one of the top topics that I end up talking to people about is realizing that you are transgender when you are married, and you married your spouse as a cisgendered person. This is a random topic to like pivot to or whatever, but it is kind of an intriguing thing to me because I am cisgendered. I'm very tall. I'm built like we used to call it, I'm built like a linebacker with boobs, right? So um, I'm very tall and I am broad. I am uh, you know, thick and, well, not thick with two C's, but like, you know, I could throw a pick on the basketball court, and other girls would just bounce right off of me. So I've had grown men try to do that on the baseball field, and they also bounce right off of me. That kind of thing. Um, so like I've been mistaken as somebody who may not be cisgendered, but I am. Um, so I found it kind of interesting because I know I'm not, like, I know there's got to be at least one peer counselor on the platform that I utilize that is offering like advice or support as a trans person for people who want to talk about transition. So I don't really 100% understand why my referencing to being, queer friendly on my general, listener profile thing. I'm not 100% sure why my profile gathers the attention of people who want to talk about that more than other people who might be available. So it makes me wonder if that is because there are not that many people willing to openly state that they'll hear you out. And I don't know, it's how it's contrary to the impression that I have about the world in general, about the discourse in general, but also my impression of people in general. Maybe it's because people who feel like they're outside that space or outside that community, they feel like they don't have a right to support it, so that they don't put their name in there. But I think it's unfortunate. But I spend a lot of time talking with people who want to talk about what it looks like to tell your spouse that you're trans. Like, we're talking people who are like 56 years old, they have 3 children, they are about to be a grandparent, and they're AMAB, and they want to talk about, how do I tell my wife that I'm a woman? What do I do when she says she wants to leave me? Because I don't want her to leave me. I just can't do this anymore. And, I've talked to people who, they came up in like a Christian faith or in a different, different types of denominations or whatever. And a lot of times, if they're talking about that, they're talking about the fact that they knew, but they, they were essentially educated to ignore it or to try and do like self-conversion therapy. And like, then they feel like a failure because their self-conversion. Like, they've been told their entire life that this is a choice and it's something that they could change by will. Like, that, as long as they're diligent and they hold themselves accountable for the things that they choose to do, they should be able to keep control over their transgender choices. But then they feel very guilty about the fact that they can't. And I have to sit there. I will happily sit there and reassure them that, like, this was not a choice. It's your choice as to whether or not you proceed with things like social transition or physical transition. But, like, you don't choose the baseline. You don't choose the confusion. You don't choose the life circumstances that either hid the truth from yourself, or, you know, you certainly didn't choose the lessons that your parents decided were, you know, worth teaching you. You know, I can say that, you know, if they were teaching you lessons about, like, this is a choice and stuff, like, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry that they, you know, I think, like, the worst part about that on some levels, other than, like, the blaringly obvious worst parts, right? It's like setting up, like, a really inappropriate expectation for your child and what they will be able to do and not be able to do, or what their friends will be able to do or not be able to do. Like, when you're teaching your kid that their sexual orientation or their gender identity is an active choice, you're not only saying that at some point when they were growing up, they had a moment where they realized, this is me and I choose it. I'm choosing against the choice that my parents chose for me earlier. Like, they realized that they could make that choice, and then they did so, and then it was just this rebellion that they couldn't let go of, whatever. But, sorry, I forgot it's right there. But not only are they teaching their kid that that was a choice that they could make, but they're teaching their kid that, you know, that's a choice that their best friend could make. That's a choice that, you know, Pete Buttigieg could have made. Do you think that Pete Buttigieg, like, went through his life and had the experiences that he's had and the things that we know about his history, and then, like, did all of those things because he just thought, like, well, I'm a gay man, but I'm going to choose to do something else for a little while, and now I'm tired of doing that, so I'm going to choose to do the gay man thing now? No. It's just, I don't know. I always come down to, like, this spot where it's like, no person, like, it would be different if we were in a space in society where, you know, we had, you know, gender abolition had come and gone, and we didn't really talk about it like that, where, you know, the necessity of talking about our genitals or the organs that we were born with was solely within the borders of, like, medical treatment, which is where I think it should be. I think, like, that's the only reason why we even need to really talk about it, is, you know, it needs to be known between you and your doctor because of the way certain medications and stuff interact with the different hormones that we naturally produce. But otherwise, like, you don't need to know what's going on with me, right? We don't live in that space, though. And now I forget where I was going. I promise I have, like, all this thought. I don't know. It just came back to me. Like, the spot that I'm getting at is, like, we don't live in that post-gender space. We don't live in a society that has no value attached to those things. Like, when I applied for the job that I just got, well, I guess I didn't really apply for it. They asked me if I wanted to get, you know, interview or whatever. But, you know, when I apply for a job, I have a very, at least for, like, Western cultures, they have a very female-specific name. And, you know, I've thought about it sometimes because I work in tech. So it's really hard, even now, to kind of universally be acceptable within the tech industry, especially if you're targeting more of those hard skills instead of the soft skills. Like, where I sit is kind of on the bridge between the hard and soft skills. So, like, I do a lot of, you know, technical stuff, but I work with a lot of people skills. So, um, I'm kind of bridging that gap. But in general, like, it's really difficult to be, you know, a female presenting person in the tech industry still. And that's just crazy to me because, like, we have, you know, tech companies founded by women, run by women, that, you know, are grossing millions of dollars, and it's still like, well, what can you do for it? Well, you just coordinated it or whatever. Like, you can't possibly have like coding skills or you know, any technical skills of any merit that's any better than, you know, what all the men that have been doing it so far can do. So, like, we don't live in that world. And so to like sit there and say that to tell like a trans person that that was a choice is just the same as me telling me that it was a choice for me to be a woman, and then, you know, just as much as it's a choice for me to work in tech. So I could sit here and say, well, I'm not going to work in tech because people in tech, um, they have a hard time accepting, you know, female contributions and stuff. I can make this whole blanket statement. I can make this whole assumption. I prefer to kind of be proof of concept for, you know, the opposite. But I have privilege in that area because I can make that decision, and I can make that decision safely. Nobody's gonna like, I mean, this is so dumb because I was about to say nobody's gonna beat me up for being a woman in tech. And then the first thing I thought of right after I said that was like an incident that I had at one of the previous jobs that I had, where like a man on the team that I was working on was demanding that I explained something to him for like the 4th time that week. And it was like a concept that he should have known already. Like, he was certainly more, you know, like he was a developer, and he certainly should have understood what we were talking about, especially after talking about it 4 times. So I refused. I said, you know, we've talked about it enough. I've told you all I know. You haven't taken any notes when we've talked. I don't have space in my schedule to keep trying to get your brain to connect with it. So if you're still confused, you need to talk to your boss. And he got up in my face and he was yelling at me, and I told him to get the hell out of my face, and he started charging me, and I yelled back at him, and he had never had a woman talk to him that way before, and you could tell. I don't, like, it's so weird to think about that. I mean, I know I totally derailed myself, but I don't think I've really thought about that in the context of, like, if it was a choice, a voluntary choice for me to be a woman, but also be a woman in tech, where it's like kind of a hostile environment in general because of like just the nature of the history of being a woman in general. And then try to put it in context and say, like, this is, it's easier to do this than being trans. And I still think it's easier to do that than being trans. But I'd never really thought about it like with like any kind of correlation. I was trying to use that as an example that seemed kind of absurd. Like, because that's the kind of like conservative talking point that you would potentially get, is like people trying to say like that they're very similar, and you can say, well, they're not. But if I can experience, if I can experience violence because a guy on my team thought I had no right to talk to him about his technical skills because I was a woman, I don't know. But that does feed the narrative that I was like, or, you know, does feed the point that I was getting at or talking about anyway, which is ultimately people don't typically choose abuse. They're not like growing up and witnessing to the way the world is right now and how awful some people can be and the risks involved. They don't look around at the community that they're in and witness to people who are being beat up or killed or, you know, maimed or whatever and say, I want that. They don't want the abuse. A lot of times people will like choose to come out and be open in public, not because they feel safe, but because they want other people to feel safe. They want other people to know, like, I will risk that safety by your side. But that, you know, the core choice of like who you are, the only choice that really happens there is whether or not you're choosing to mute. You're either being yourself or you're making the choice to hide it. I don't know. I've been kind of meandering around or whatever today, and you know, I kind of wanted to just come in today with no real agenda, no real thing that I was like targeting to like hit on other than test stream a little bit and get a feel for how tools have changed and all of that stuff, and then just let myself meander in the way that I usually do. And that's what I've done. Didn't really expect to get to any kind of substantial point, but I feel like I got to a pretty decent one. One day though, right? I wonder who's doing what right now. For anybody who watches this later, if you're curious about what I'm puffing, this is HHC. HHC, hydrogenated business. Mike Bosch is live. I think he's funny. I actually got worried about watching him for a little while because this will be like my funny, you know, I keep thinking about like saying things that the streamer One Topic would say. Like earlier I was thinking about, I was like, roll that outro, but I don't know, he's like my feel good thing. Like when I decide that I'm just kind of needing to unwind and have something that doesn't make my brain hurt as much. Like he has this laugh that makes me feel warm. So it's nice. He's been gone for a little while. He said the other day that he was under the weather. I'm glad that that he's been feeling better, because Mr. Laugh Man, you've been missed. But while I was in my downtime, like, I mean, I spent a ton of time kind of doing what I call nesting, but it's not like the nesting that you do to like make a comfy home for your new baby or whatever. It was like literally recuperative emotional care for myself, where, you know, I bundle up in my bed. I have a TV in the bedroom, and I would just watch. I first started watching streams, like I started with Jimmy Snow and like the Dear Mr. Atheist group of people, and I don't remember exactly when the hop over happened. I don't know if I connected to people like Vosh because of Jimmy, or if I hopped over because of watching the Damage Report, which, you know, Dragon Squad. But you know, I mean, that's kind of how I managed to not go completely insane, because, you know, pandemic plus, you know, a big apartment all by yourself, it's kind of a tough time. But, you know, kind of early in the time where I was like still trying to propel myself through like streaming and stuff, I was trying to figure out my own stuff, and then I would, you know, log off for the day, be like, oh, I had one person check in and they thought I was too boring, so they checked out, and I was like, I gotta figure out some stuff, man. But then I'd go chill, right? And one day I watched Vosh, and I watched him for the first time, and I just was like, I shouldn't watch this guy. And just to be clear, it wasn't like I shouldn't watch this guy because I thought like he was shitty or something. I like Vosh quite a bit. And, you know, I probably, you know, I wouldn't say I have like some kind of like hardcore parasocial thing going on or anything like that, but I did like get the sense initially, like, I was like, I could be friends with this person, but then I was like, oh my gosh, like, she's gonna think that I'm old. I don't know, like, I felt kind of convicted when I started realizing just how old I was in comparison to some of these people I've been watching. But you know, I mean, I just, like, I think the guy's hella smart. I know he's hella smart. He makes me want to respond, but like the thing that got to me when I started watching him initially was I felt like the style of stream that he was doing was very, very similar to what I had been doing so far, but I had only done like 4 or 5 streams at the time I saw my first Vosh video, and the only solace I could bring to myself was that he spoke about politics almost exclusively and played video games that a lot of people like. And I was focusing on emotional health and well-being, and that pretty much I only play things that nerds like. I think that'll be changing in regards to like what I'm playing, just because now I have a computer that can handle it, because the last one, like, I couldn't really play a whole lot of anything. But you know, I mean, I think like even his fucking origin story, right? Vosh's origin story, I remember like listening to him talk about it once, where like the way he even got started in the whole stream thing was that he would get online and the computer he was using would max out, so he couldn't do anything other than talk. Like, he would have jitter in his stream of the game or whatever, so like it wasn't like good gameplay, so he would just talk to chat while he was doing that. That's literally what I was doing, literally what I'm doing now, except for like I'm talking to the void. So watching that gave me quite a complex, in the sense like it was really convicting. It was really something that I was like, I don't even know if I should even try. Because I think, I mean, especially like I came across like him actually like doing life advice, and it almost stopped me, right? But I feel like that's a pretty good life lesson at the end of the day to like share, especially with people, you know, who might be younger than me, people who are going through stuff or might be confronted with the first time that, like, you know, I mean, especially like after you leave high school and sometimes after you leave college, like that's when you're first confronted with another person who can do the thing that you do really well, really well. It's usually in that time frame where you meet the first person where you know for a fact they are better than you at the one thing that you felt was like your best thing ever, right? You will always end up finding somebody who can make you feel that way. Two things to keep in mind. Feeling that way doesn't make it true. It being true doesn't mean your shit is bad or not worth doing. The reason why I'm at the age that I am and still trying to figure stuff out is because I let myself buy that lie, buy the lie in my brain that said if I found somebody who was already really good at the thing I was trying to be really good at, or the thing that I knew I was really good at and thought I can make my name doing this, or I can make, you know, I can make some kind of memory or legacy or some reason to give a shit about me out of this. Like, finding a person who's better at that than you or whatever, like, that doesn't make your legacy nothing. It doesn't mean that you can't bring your own flavor. Obviously, I'm a different person than him, and I obviously have different takes than him, and it took me a little while, but I finally did come across a video at some point. I don't remember what the topic was, but I remember that I have said, I don't agree with you. So yeah, I mean, I think I just like, I finally got to the point in my life where I got tired of watching other people get good at the stuff I wanted to be good at and then like deferring to them. Like, that sucks. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to live a life where like you had all this love for other people, but you didn't have it for yourself? That was my life for like the first half of my life. I don't want that life anymore, and I'm not going to have that life anymore. So, anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and meander my way to sign off. See what might be going on. I got some appointments in the morning, so I want to make sure I don't like overstay my welcome. And I also want to make sure that, you know, I push myself to do some editing and maybe put out some short videos or whatever. I'm hoping maybe that on playback, a couple of the things that I just said will be worth preserving by itself in like a format that somebody would want to consume, instead of this, you know, what we're at an hour and a half where I've been rambling to the void. But this was day one of the endeavor to push myself to be, I'm pushing myself to be the person I know I can be, the person I see myself being, the person I feel like I can be. I want to be that person for whoever is out there who needs it. I don't care if that sounds like conceited or whatever. I think everybody deserves to believe and feel that their life has a purpose and has a meaning, and that they are perfectly entitled to enjoy that feeling and embrace that feeling. So here's hoping we all will, right? So yeah. Anyway, I put a bunch of links in the description. You've got, you know, Discord links, you've got the email, you've, like, if you for some reason decide off of this one jankety stream you would be interested in donating some money so I could get a microphone, all of that stuff is down in the description. Can get to Discord, you can get to you know, Reddit or whatever. I got a Twitter that I'm not using yet, you know, the whole thing. So I'm most active, like, for just like regular updates and stuff, through Facebook. I know that people talk about that being like the old people platform, but like, I literally, like, I signed up for Facebook back in 2005, and what can I say? Like, I'm an old kid, I'm a millennial, and it's just the nature of the beast. So so you can definitely follow me on Facebook and all of that stuff. And as time goes by, I do intend to at least auto-populate across. But another place that I'm fairly active on, but I do not have linked down below, I don't think, is I actually put up a fair number of Instagram posts. Especially, like, I'll do short videos and, you know, inspirational messages and stuff like that. So if that's something that you guys are interested in and you think I should bring that to YouTube, please leave it in the comments, because I'd be happy to cross-post. You know, I think I just kind of decided, like, to focus on one platform for this kind of effort, one platform for this kind of effort, and one platform for this kind of effort. And the reason why I'm focusing most of my communications through Facebook is because of the nature of what we're trying to do. So the Mama Lynn channel is like where all the peer counseling stuff is going to sit. This is where the emotional health stuff will be. I plan on having at least, like, my plan is to have a session at least a week. So, you know, hopefully, you know, it'd probably be, I don't know, I haven't decided what day yet. I'm hoping that people will engage over time and tell me what day works best. But in the meantime, you know, we'll do like the once a week on here. But the other things that we have going on, you know, I'll have kind of, you know, I'm hoping to have at least one, like, watch other streamers react, you know, gosh, I guess I don't, React Annie? Is that what it'd be? React Annie? You know, have a reaction video one day. But we also are, we are building up a sort of book club. So part of what's going to happen on this channel or one of the other channels is that we're going to work our way through some kind of mental health and wellness, you know, personal development kind of books. And we're going to share those kinds of discussions. We're going to talk about it with everybody. And my hope is to share some of the lessons that we learn along the way. Right now, it's me and a couple of my friends that I've known since college that we're going to go through, like, the first book. So I think it's going to be really good. I'm going to make a short little introduction invitation video in the near future, just so that people can see what's going on and have the opportunity to get the book and start reading along with us. But
if you follow us on Facebook or follow me on Facebook, what you'll end up getting is invitations to the actual events in which we are discussing those books, as well as it will give you kind of access to some of the updates that I'm making about, like one of the things that I typically do is I announce, like, I basically, you know, if there's been a natural disaster that's really bad recently, if I have the capacity to do so, I send out kind of a bat call for not only to receive donations, but also offering to provide, you know, a small number of people, you know, small grants to help them pay for a night or two of like hotel stays, or, you know, get a U-Haul or whatever else they might need at that time. So I highly encourage you to follow me there. I'm not really keen to get into the whole Twitter sphere because I just think it sounds like it would be awful and toxic, and that it wouldn't fit really the narrative I'm trying to put together here. But you know, I guess I'll eventually have to cave probably, but not really looking to do that yet, but I guess we'll see, right? Anyway, I have a couple of things I want to do for the rest of the night, and so I'm going to go do that. So anyway, thank you, Void, for listening to me today. I really appreciate having the time together, and I hope that next time goes a little more smoothly, and I'll be on time, and maybe I'll have a little more interesting things to do on stream, right? Right? Instead of giving the kitty kisses. Kitty kisses. Wait, you want to be like on my chest? So Tamber and I, we're gonna say goodnight, and so take care of yourselves. I almost did the Dr. Rashad Ritchie sign out. I'm like, wait a minute. I think that might have been really close to what I used to say. But I think what I used to say was, you know, take care of yourself and do something nice for someone. You know, try to be good to yourself. Be better to yourself than you think you deserve. We rarely do the things for ourselves that cut it. My point being that think about what you would like to do for someone that you would like. What do you? Man, why am I bad at this? I'm bad at this because I'm out of practice, right? Right. I was bad at this before, right? Yeah, I know. But yes, take care of yourself. Do something for yourself that you usually tell yourself that you don't need it. You know, whether that be buying yourself, you know, the fancy mustard, or going out to eat, or, you know, buying the book you've been eyeballing in your Amazon cart. My arms are pinned under her, so I'm stuck. I swear, if she decides she's gonna go to sleep, you're just gonna have like this chunk of the stream where it's just me. I guess we'll just rock her. My phone's on the floor too, so it's not like I can even like change the name of the stream to be like, watch me rock my cat. My kitty cat likes to rocking. She likes to be in my arms. Yes, she does. And then I rub the microphone on the kitty cat, 'cause I don't know how to make it different than that. Ooh, I made a rhyme. What are we gonna do with you? I think she's sleepy. But what do you do with the sleepy cat that has already made their perch in your arms? Grandma cat. I sing her a song like every day. It's a very specific song, don't I? What are you doing? Sometimes times like this make me wonder, since she is my ESA, if like my blood pressure is going through the roof or something and I just don't know. Or maybe hers is? Free arm. Are you okay? I don't know what to do with you. You're my kitty cat, baby. You're my kitty cat. Oh, I should have said, you're my kitty cat, baby. My kitty cat, boo. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. You're my kitty cat, baby. You're my kitty cat, boo. we just sing a whole song about timbre? We'll make one up. Timbre. Timbre is my kitty cat baby, my kitty cat boo. I don't know what I'll do with you, my timbre baby, my kitty cat boo. You like to crawl all over me, make me wake up. I can't sleep when you're around. 'Cause you're my kitty cat baby, you're my kitty cat boo. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. You get my arms wrapped under you. Are you sleepy? Yes, you are, baby boo. Guess who's my baby? You're my baby. You're my kitty cat baby. You're my kitty cat boo. She's falling asleep. I wonder if I can turn without unplugging things. She's my kitty cat baby, my kitty cat boo. Don't you wish I was you? Don't you want my baby, my kitty cat boo? She's my little Tigger, kitty cat. Hour and a half of stream talking to the void. 2 hours with the cat asleep on my chest. Talk to him. Do you not want me to go yet? She's really zonking out. This is like nose touch thing. I kind of pretend that it's like she's giving me a kiss. Did you give me a kiss? This fur kid don't like treats. Well, I mean, she likes mushy treats like the puree tube, but like I can't get her to take medicine. She won't eat the little fish that I got her. She's got a couple of beds. She's got a cat tree. She's got a whole squishy sectional couch, as you can see. I got a king size memory foam bed. And this kid will sleep on my chest. And I can't really sleep on my back, so it's kind of hard. So sometimes she'll sleep on my chest and then I don't sleep very well. And then I shift
and lay on my side, and then she will decide that the side squish is a good spot. Or she'll just stand by me and stare at me until she decides she's bored or she's found a spot. Lately, she has been opted into like basically the big spoon spot. And, well, it's all great and cute and good until you turn over. Hey, can I get up? Hmm? She's my timber baby. She's my old grandma cat, but I love you. She's really getting in there. What do I do? I mean, you're really cute. You're really cute. I don't think she's ever done this before. So I'm like, you're really cute. Why you gotta be so cute? Why you gonna make me feel guilty? Hmm? I swear, I think she's just using me for my body heat. I don't think she really likes me all that much. I mean, she likes me for what she can like me for, right? Hey, can I get up? Hey. She brought out her murder claws because I moved her. Anyway. What are you doing now? On that note, now that you've watched me sing to my cat, rant to the void, talk about a bunch of stuff that probably makes no sense whatsoever, and tell you a very bad summary of the last year of my life, I'm gonna go. So, if you happen to, for whatever reason, decide to watch this whole entire thing, like, thanks. But, yeah, I hope that I'll actually follow up on my own plans and chop it up into smaller pieces and grab whatever might be salvageable out of it. And I'll see you next time. But if you did happen to watch this entire thing, I'll tell you what. I got some games that I could give away, I guess. So if you happen to see me saying this, and you You want something free, I guess. I don't know. I got a bunch of codes because I've been paying for Humble Bundle for like a year and a half, and I haven't redeemed a bunch of them. So if like you see this and you're like, hey, I could use a game, go look. Look at what they're offering on Humble Bundle. HumbleBundle.com. If you see a game, particularly in the last couple of months, that you would like to have, shoot me an email with the email you would like it sent to. I believe you'd have to like send me, well, I think I can send it, Steam or whatever. They're generally games that I'll install through Steam. But anyway, if you see this and you decide you want one of those games and you are so inclined, go ahead and email me at the email below and I will send you a code to the game. I will honor this offer for the first only 5 people on this video in order to confirm that it was the case, that you saw this and you didn't just see somebody talk about it or whatever. Prove it. I'm like, timestamp it, but you can kind of copy and paste a timestamp and, basically anything I could tell you to do, you could do it and copy it. So please be a good sport. Don't copy and paste into somewhere public and waste all of the options. Let 4 other people have a shot too. And, I will make like a grand announcement if I ever end up giving away all 5 games. So, anyway, until next time, which will hopefully be soon. Like I said, take care of yourselves. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for other people. And stop making excuses. If that message was for you, you already know. All right. We'll talk to you later, guys. Have a good night, kiddos. Love ya. Bye.